Conectando. Let's see. We're here. We're here. All right, Guns Crew. Good evening, or should I say good morning? I'm not sure what time is it. As you see, it's your boy Ron, and got a little bit of Catherine full body music in the background. I would like to consider this my post game review. Right. So, of course, I went through two full entire gameplays for the game. Right. And overall, hands down, definitely challenging for me because I'm not into, puzzle games like that. But boy, did I really get myself into it. I would have to say, on a graphics basis, considering the cell shading and anime style, I mean, I give it a 9 out of 10. The reason I say this is because obviously I have seen um, better graphically used animation when it comes to that anime style that they do. Of course, Persona comes to mind. I mean, same developers, go figure. Although Persona, of course, has the P Studios, but enjoyed it overall. Presentation, the graphic layout, everything was just easy on the eye, easy to work around. One of the things I also enjoyed was the fact that the little references to other video games and other video game references. Like, for example, the block that Rin had kind of looked like a Super Mario block but blue. Uh, you also had the references to Persona 3, 4, and 5, with Morgana, Aegis, and Teddy, on the side of the bar. The posters of the early Phantom Thieves, as well as the poster of Persona 3. I thought that was really dope. But again, it kind of reminds you of who's in charge of making the game at the end of the day. The music, of course, give it 9 out of 10 because, Shoji Meguro. One second. God, I hate commercials. I hate commercials. Seriously, folks. Yep. Don't mind me. Alright, I have to leave the controller in front of me. Sorry about that, but that's okay. This is as raw as it gets, folks. Alright, so again, graphically, give it a 9 out of 10. I enjoy it. Obviously, we've seen other games that have the use of anime better. Obviously, the Persona 5 Royal obviously used it a little better. Persona 5 Strikers that's coming out, obviously better execution of it. However, it doesn't take away from this game in any way in that regard. Again, layout, shout outs to other games. I thought that was cute. I thought that was cool at the same time. Music, I enjoy the soundtrack. It's pretty dope. Shoji Meguro, again, composer for Shin Megami Tensei and for Persona. He does the soundtrack here too. So nothing bad I can say there. Gameplay and control, very responsive, good to the point. Nothing to write home about in terms of like complaining about response. It works just fine, very seamless. I mean, there isn't much to really talk about there. Now, when it comes to story though, 13 endings, right? Yeah, I saw the playlist that I set up on my channel, so if you haven't seen them, check out my playlist. I got them on this channel here on Ron Guns. I've gotten overall, I think about 4 or 5 of the endings of the 13. And of course, here on YouTube on the 2 playlists, I got to see at least 2 of them. One of the most challenging things about the gameplay in this regard with the story is the fact that as you approach around night 5 and night 6, the story begins to diverge a little bit and spread out a little. Because I did notice that certain cutscenes are only available when you make certain decisions going into the 6th nightmare. And then from there on out, things do split. Of course, the first route that I did with you guys, which was the bad ending, of course, I made decisions that, well, honestly, in my personal opinion, decisions I made based on my clearest state of mind in, throwing any bias when it comes to uh, your usual sexual, like anything regarding sexual orientation or gender. I tossed it out the window when it came to decision making, because it was like at the end of the day, it's like put that out of your brain for a second. Just make the decisions as though it were just anyone else, right? And of course, I ended up with Rin. And the thing is, the ending didn't feel like a bad ending. You know what I mean? Because, and again, warning, minor spoiler. Sure, Rin ends up leaving, going on their music tour. But in the end, they still end up back together, reuniting anyway. So is that really a bad ending? And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? That is kind of like something that would happen to me, right? Like go into a bunch of crazy skedaddle when it comes to women, and then when you finally have the guts to just go the route that you feel makes the most sense, the person that's actually the most endearing and kindness to you, that's the one you decide to go with. I mean, to me, logically, it makes more sense. And well, and of course, knowing my luck in real life, the thing doesn't full blast, right away. It'll be one of those things, be like, hey, dude, love you, I like you. You know what? I got stuff to take care of, but you know what? We'll reunite later. And of course, I'd be the dude end up waiting. But of course, eventually the reunion happens, and everyone's happy. So I was like, okay, this does seem more realistic based on decisions I would actually make in my most positive state of mind. When I did the second route, which was the good Catherine ending, it may not be the true ending, but I felt was like the most realistic one in a scenario where she takes you back. Like, for me, I felt like the true ending, which I did get when I played the original Catherine. When I beat it, I felt like it was unrealistic to me as an adult. Like, I was like, it makes no sense to just, oh, I'll take you back, and not only that, we're getting married right away, whatever type of thing. I just don't feel that's realistic. However, when she took him back and they got engaged but didn't get married right away, they just went steady about it, it felt like a realistic ending. Like, I was like, you know what? And then the decisions, the way I made them playing the game, were where it's like I'm myself, but me knowing how I would be when I'm a little in an edgy mood. Not edgy as in like edgelord type stuff, but more like constantly on edge about things where it's like, oh my god, what the hell you want? I'm like, are you freaking serious type stuff, you know what I mean? Where I'd still have a conscience about things, but then also be realistic, be like, hey, yeah, like Rin's great and all, but she seems more like a good friend type of thing. And I'm like, you know what? No, what am I doing? I gotta stick with a girl that actually wants to have a future with me type thing. That's the approach I went with the second playlist. I have played some of the Tower of Babel stuff, which I think is challenging in and of itself. And boy, that's some very narrow gate survival mode right there. And of course, if you play with different characters, you obviously get a little bit different with the music. And of course, I got the DLC with Joker from Persona 5. So I got to hop with him, and you hear the boss battle music from Persona 5 in there, which I think is really cool. So my overall impression, let me see. Graphics, 9 out of 10. Music, I give it a 9.5. Only reason I give it 9.5 is because Shoji Meguro makes better music with Persona. It's just the honest truth. Even though this soundtrack is very nice also. Gameplay, given that it's a puzzle genre, mixed with like dating sim slash romantic horror, I give it an 8. I give it an 8. It's not a genre I will stick myself and deep dive in for an eternity. But it was definitely fun. It was definitely challenging for my brain. It got me to where outside of the game, in real life, when I'm looking at things and trying to piece things together, I'm literally imagining Vincent moving the puzzle, going like, all right, you got it. All right, you got it. And then trying to just piece things together, from organizing my room to laying things out in a way that makes sense at work, to just menial tasks that really have no meaning in real life. But because of the game, everything's like, all right, let me try and puzzle things together and see where things make sense. Even down to when I'm having a conversation with someone and I'm listening to what they're saying and trying to piece everything they're saying together to really understand their train of thought, which I thought was really cool. Would I recommend it to anyone or everyone? I mean, if you're into puzzles, or if you remember Intelligence Cube from PlayStation 1, go for it. I say go for it. And if you're a supporter of Sega and Atlas, go for it too. I say that also. It's actually one of the few games that I actually have a physical copy of on my PS4. I got the Steelbook copy. Personally, I felt the Steelbook copy wasn't as good as Persona 5 Royal or even Yakuza Like a Dragon from Sega, but it still feels nice. It looks nice. The art is typical Atlas, and I mean that in a good way. So there's that. And well, there really isn't too much to say other than that. Well, oh, and one other thing. When I was playing it offline, right, no live streaming, no camera, just doing it on my own at my own leisure, the questions between nightmares, they do change. So certain questions that pop up when I'm live streaming, if I'm playing it in a separate file offline, not the same at all. I would actually get a different answer. I mean, a different set of answers or a different set of questions, and it would actually alter the course of the meter of order and chaos. So it does change which way things can go. Hence why there's 13 endings. It's like, oh my god, like every little decision you make. Also, making sure you pick the right answers when it comes to talking to the guys in the bar. Because the wrong choice of words, and they can actually end up dying like after night 3 or 4. I was actually surprised that in the second playlist of the Good Catherine ending route, I was actually able to save everyone at the bar. Like all the guys that I met as sheep in the nightmare, I was able to save all of them. I really enjoyed that. Really did. I thought it was a good feeling because I was like, you know what, let me save them. Why not, right? That plus I was also trying to get all the trophies too, as much as I can. And of course you get trophies for the different endings too. That's another thing to bear in mind. There's also, if you pursue the Rin True ending route, which unfortunately you guys did not get to see on my live stream, but I managed to pull it off offline. You end up getting a bonus nightmare. Get a bonus nightmare that involves someone related to Rin. Again, I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it, who haven't played it, and who may be interested in it. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone for someone that saw my stuff and didn't really get to see that part. It's out there on YouTube. Obviously, other people have done it, but thought I'd put that out there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it with my Catherine full body review. One thing that the game itself did teach me on a life aspect, not only the delicacy of like how your decisions can actually alter course of events of things that happen, but it also ended up kind of teaching me of myself a little bit in terms of my engagement with relationships when it comes to the simple stuff when it comes to talking to women or making decisions, or if someone seems a little flaky or a little too controlling, how I actually would take action in a way that outside of it, I was like, it just made me think a little more, really consider my decision making, my mindset of certain things. It's like, oh, okay, this is actually how I think. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyone that's watching, thank you. And if you're watching for the first time and you like this little review and you end up enjoying the rest of my stuff, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell in case if I do more live streaming, you want to see what I do. And well, Ron Gun signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. And take care of yourselves and enjoy the weekend.